What would I do in the office of U.S. Soccer President? We have an election coming up in February of 2018. The incumbent Sunil Gulati looks to be running for another term as president, and there are some challengers which are rising up to compete with him. So what should the priorities be for a U.S. soccer president? And I'm seeing a number of issues mentioned, but really what it all comes down to, the root issue that we need to fix, is our closed USA soccer market problem. And I'm going to keep coming back to this one root issue every time because it is at the heart of all our symptomatic problems in American soccer. So once you fix this root issue, then the other issues start to fall into place. The market sort of takes care of itself. Yes, you need regulation and governance, and that's why we have the U.S. Soccer Federation. And of course, there will be different actions that will need to be changed, policies that will need to be changed. But the one root cause of a lot of our symptoms is this closed USA soccer market. So the first thing I would do post-February election would be to set an official timeline for an open market or an open system with promotion and relegation. So I will say, announce it from Federation, I will say, we're going to have an open system in 5 years, let's say. I'll give a definite date, a year that we'll officially kick things off. As part of this declaration, I am going to also move our system to a normal worldwide calendar where the domestic club season starts in the fall and then ends in the spring. We can have a winter break in between. We can talk more about how to break things down structurally later. That's a topic for another day. There's a lot to that. But just setting up that declaration gives incentive to the market. So our 330 million people, it gives incentive to them to mobilize and to start investing and to start building in soccer in America. So academies start to form, clubs start to form, investors join the party and either buy clubs, chip in to existing clubs, or start their own clubs. You'll really see, once that incentive of the open system is announced, you'll see the vast American soccer market start to rise from the ashes, and you'll see money start to pour into the game. Overnight, the equity of lower division clubs will increase tenfold. So once that declaration is made, then things can really start to move. And from there, we've got a problem we have to solve with MLS, our current Division One. They have exclusive right to Division One. They're going to face kind of an ultimatum, a crossroads, and the second thing I'll do as U.S. Soccer President would be to walk into the MLS office and say, guys, here's your choice. Either you can align with promotion and relegation. We've got a plan that will integrate you as our Division One, which is a great deal for you guys. We're going to fill the pyramid from the bottom for a few years during the prep period, so you guys will be safe from relegation for 3 to 5 years. Do you guys want in? Do you want to align? And of course, that will also cause some issues for MLS because they'll have to figure out how to break up into individual clubs. They're a single entity right now, so all teams are just part of one single MLS property. So they'll have to figure out how to break things up amongst themselves so they can participate and become the Division One. Again, it's a sweet deal for MLS, and I think long term it will be better profits for the individuals invested in MLS in the long term. But right now, just having control is so appealing to them, having that exclusive monopoly. It's tough for them to give up, and I think it's hard for them to have the vision to see what an awesome success an open system could be. So MLS can participate, or if it refuses, then I'll just say, well, I'm sorry, guys, closed leagues don't get divisional sanctions. So you guys can remain as is, untouched. We'll give you, authorization under U.S. Soccer to operate off on your own, just like NFL or NBA or Major League Baseball. No divisional sanction. You guys go on your merry way and do your thing. And if your model works, your American franchise model works, then it should be just fine, right? And if MLS needs that divisional sanction, as I've said before, then that tells us something about, is MLS really relying on its own product to remain afloat and successful, or is it actually leaning on the Division I sanction or their monopoly on the Division I sanction as a crutch? And if it's the latter, that's a bad sign for American soccer. So we're going to leave MLS that choice. It's an ultimatum for them, and that's going to be a big domino in the future of American soccer as far as setting up an open system. Then from there, we can start to get into the fun part, breaking down what exactly our American soccer structure will look like under an open system. So how will we set things up with the leagues? Again, I say, and others have said this too, we should break down into two separate East and West pyramids so that we can better cover our country geographically, especially with our Division I's. And I totally agree with that. We're the size of Europe. So as much as we can break it down regionally, if we can break it down East-West and then lower divisions, probably stay East-West for a couple divisions down and then go regionally from there, I think that's going to help, and particularly with the lower division clubs. It'll be regional leagues, which will be great for lower division clubs. And then as you move up, you start to compete against your entire half of the country pyramid. So some fun ways we can think about setting things up. Again, there are no sticking points there with opening the system. There's just different logistics we have to think about and how to best leverage the massive American soccer potential. And then also we've got the U.S. Open Cup, which is just as awesome. We need to think about when that's scheduled, how many teams can be accepted into it. There are 9,000 American soccer clubs right now, so we need to think of a way to, obviously the higher tiers are automatically in, and then we have to go from there. Probably some sort of qualifying process for the lower tiers so that it's as open as possible to all teams. All 9,000 aren't going to be able to play in the cup in one calendar year. That's just way too many. But we can think about how to break that down in the most efficient way possible. That could be the greatest domestic cup competition in the world if we really put our mind to it. Just think about March Madness on steroids just for the cup, and then also for the league system as well. So then from there, we get out to the peripheral issues, and you think about, well, what's left? You hear about pay to play. That's an issue we need to address. Well, when you have an open system with 9,000 clubs having new incentive to create their own free-to-play academies and scouting networks, then you have a free-to-play pipeline that has sprung up, and it's taken the focus off of that pay-to-play side, or taken the reliance off the pay-to-play side, and that's not an issue anymore. So we don't need to demonize the pay-to-play side. We just need to give the market incentive to create our free-to-play system. So an open system, and once our clubs mobilize, we'll really see that problem start to shrink into the background. So we don't really need any specific initiatives there. And then what else? Equal pay for the women's national team. I think that's a no-brainer. We're America. We can afford that. That's not a big deal. And I think hopefully our revenues will rise under an open system, so we can pay our national team players even more on both the men's and women's side. And then let's see, what's another issue? Solidarity payments. This is also, I think, a no-brainer. It comes with the territory of an open system, so we don't need to finagle our closed system to enable solidarity payments. We can just, align with the rest of the world with an open system, have independent clubs, and if you are part of a transfer sequence for a particular player, then you'll get that solidarity payments, or that trickle down money for that big player you sold 4 clubs ago. You were his first club, and now he's playing at Barcelona. So you get whatever cut of the money or whatever percentage he was bought for in 2026. So the solidarity payment issue is also eliminated once we allow real independent and unlimited soccer clubs. So that's what I'll do as U.S. Soccer president. I'm not running in 2018, but I want to see U.S. Soccer presidential candidates this cycle and also in the next cycle coming out with a plan like this, going after our root cause. And I don't know why we're afraid of an open market. You know, it's almost like it's a taboo topic at this point. And it's like if 99% of world soccer is a touchy subject for you, if the wild success of that is so taboo, then, I mean, are you really the right person to lead us into the future for American soccer? If you can't even, if you're afraid of a few people here in America that don't like promotion relegation, I don't know. I think we can do better, and I want to help lead a generation in American soccer that wants to be excellent in every area, from a social, economic, and sporting standpoint in soccer. We need leadership that has big dreams, enough stagnation. It's time to make American soccer into what it could be, a world soccer powerhouse. So if you like this video, make sure to share it out on social media and also subscribe to my channel right here, and I'll talk to you soon.